This story takes place about 2 years ago, in a town that doesn't celebrate Halloween. And when I say doesn't celebrate, I don't mean people just aren't into it. I mean no decorations, no candy, no costumes, nothing. You don't even open your door that night. I didn't know that when I moved there. I had just transferred for work. I'd lived in the city my entire life. Traffic, noise, crowded apartments. I was done with it. So when an opening came up at one of my company's rural branches, I jumped at it. A fresh start. A quiet place for me and my daughter, Samantha. She wasn't thrilled. Of course, teenagers never are when you uproot them from their friends. But I told her it'd be good for us. Peaceful, safe, clean air. What I didn't tell her was that I had another reason. The town we moved to was where her mother, my late wife, grew up. And after her heart attack, her parents buried her here. I told myself being closer to her grave would help both of us heal. Looking back, I wish I'd left her resting in peace. We moved in late August. The town looked like something out of an old postcard. Wooden storefronts, a white church on a hill, a diner that still used paper menus. It felt stuck in time, but charming, until October rolled around. That's when I noticed something strange. No decorations, not even a single pumpkin on a porch. One night, Samantha came downstairs while I was flipping through TV channels. I stopped on an old Goosebumps episode. Perfect Halloween nostalgia. I asked her, "You got plans for Halloween this year, Sam?" She just scoffed. "No one here even talks about Halloween." I asked some kids at school about it, and they looked at me like I said something offensive. She wasn't wrong. The local shops had no orange lights, no candy displays, not even a mention of the holiday. It was eerie in a quiet way, like the whole town was avoiding something. So, being the idiot newcomer I was, I decided we'd change that. That weekend, we started decorating. Nothing crazy. A plastic witch in the window, a few foam pumpkins, some fake cobwebs. Halfway through, a police cruiser pulled up to the curb. A local deputy got out and started yelling at Samantha, who was halfway up a ladder. "What do you mean, I have to take it down?" she shouted. "It's obscene," he barked back. "We don't allow that kind of thing here." I walked over, confused. "Obscene? It's a witch decoration." The deputy looked me up and down. "You new here?" "Yeah," I said. "Just moved in a few months ago." "What's the problem?" He pointed at the decorations. "Those things attract attention. Take them down before nightfall, or I'll have to write you up." I thought he was joking. He wasn't. He glared at us both, then left without another word. Samantha just stared at me, wide-eyed. "Dad, what the hell was that?" I didn't have an answer. When I called the station later, they told me the same thing, only in a much calmer voice. "We don't celebrate Halloween here, sir. It's for your safety." I laughed it off. Thought maybe it was some weird old-town superstition. But we took everything down anyway. Halloween night came fast. In any normal town, there'd be kids running around, lights glowing, houses alive with laughter. But our street was silent. Every house dark. Samantha sat by the window and said, "No one's even outside. It's like the whole town's dead." I tried to lighten the mood, but she wasn't smiling. Then she asked the question I'd been dreading. "Dad, why did we really move here?" I told her the truth about her mom, about the grave. She got quiet. Then she said she'd stop by the cemetery after school, and that all the graves were cleared. No flowers, no decorations. It sounded off, but I didn't want to think about it. We decided to grab food from the burger place on Main Street. That's when things really started to feel wrong. The streets were empty, no cars, no lights. Even the traffic signals were dark. "Maybe a power outage?" Sam asked, but my phone worked fine. It was 8:03 p.m. I told her we were going home. As we pulled into the driveway, we both froze. The front door was wide open. "Dad, you locked it, right?" I had. I was sure I had. I told her to stay in the car, lock the doors, and wait. If I wasn't back in 5 minutes, she was to drive straight to the police station. I grabbed my phone and went inside. The living room looked like a war zone. Furniture overturned, lamps broken, TV face down on the floor. Nothing stolen, just destroyed. Then I heard it, sobbing, from upstairs. I called 911, busy, signal, no joke, busy. I grabbed Samantha's old softball bat from the closet and made my way up the stairs. The crying was coming from her bedroom. The door was slightly open. I pushed it wider with the bat. There was a woman sitting on the bed, shoulders shaking as she clutched one of Samantha's stuffed animals. Her hair was long and stringy, her skin pale and torn. And when she turned her head toward me, I stopped breathing. It was my wife, or what was left of her. Her face was gray and paper-thin, her eyes hollow, one missing completely, but the ring on her finger glinted in the beam of my phone's light. Her wedding ring. She smiled, a warped, rotten grin, and let out a noise that didn't sound human. I stumbled back, tripping into the wall. That's when Sam screamed from downstairs. "Dad, they're trying to get in." Glass shattered, laughter, low, broken, echoing filled the house. I ran to the stairs just as the woman lunged. She hit the wall so hard the drywall cracked, and I tumbled down the steps. More figures were crawling in through the windows. Hands pale and rotted. Grabbing, clawing, Samantha shined her phone's light toward the stairs, and the beam caught my wife's face. Her lips were split, her skin peeling in strips, and yet she looked at me like she knew me. "Karen," I whispered. She tilted her head just slightly, and then screamed my daughter's name, "Sam." It didn't even sound like a voice. It was like her throat had rusted dots. Samantha bolted toward the kitchen. I followed, slamming the basement door behind us. Karen pounded on it, over and over. Her voice cracked into sobs. We nailed the door shut and waited in the dark. The sounds of footsteps and laughter moved through the house all night. At some point, Samantha fell asleep in my arms. I never closed my eyes once. When the sun finally came up, the noise stopped. I stepped outside. The yard was covered in footprints, dozens of them. The house looked like it had been hit by a storm. That's when I saw the same deputy from before, standing by his car. "Told you not to put that stuff up," he said. I yelled at him, demanded to know what happened. He just sighed. "We don't go out on Halloween. We don't even turn on the lights. The decorations, they draw them in, the ones who can't rest." He looked at me. "You said you had family buried here." I nodded. "I'm sorry you had to see them like that," he said quietly. "You weren't supposed to." He told me to come by the church if I needed food or help, then drove away. I turned back toward the house. One of Samantha's foam pumpkins still sat in the window, that fake orange grin mocking me in the daylight. I ripped it down and threw it in the trash. Every Halloween since. I do nothing. No lights, no candy, no decorations, because I learned what this town already knew. Halloween doesn't belong here. Not when the dead remember you.